Enabling investments. Introduction. In many cases your demand is limited by something that you cannot control directly. In such cases you may be interested in enabling investments. Enabling investments help you drive the demand, or sales by removing the main bottleneck, lack of the demand. Enabling investment can be done in different places depending on where the bottleneck is. In many situations the bottleneck is on the demand side and we have some standard approaches which will help us boost the demand. First of all, you can increase the demand from current customers. This is by far the easiest option because your customers know you, and are already using your product. You can achieve that by convincing them to use the product more often or find a new great applications of your product. The master in this field is definitely the brand Oreo, which provides their cookies in all shapes and flavors. They have put their product into chocolates, ice creams and even try to convince customers to grind Oreo cookies and make a new cookies out of this. The second option we can consider is to increase the number of potential customers. You can achieve that by playing with certain features of your product and changing the price. Sometimes, you have to fight with certain stereotypes like we had it in the case of cosmetics for men, or diapers for adults. Another interesting thing that is worth trying is to find new applications for your products. On top of that, we can try and kill substitutes. If you are looking for inspiration how to do that, check the butter versus margarine war. Sometimes, the bottleneck is rather on the supply side and we again have some standard approaches which will help us deal with the problems on this side. First of all, you can increase throughput of bottlenecks. To remove bottlenecks you will have to have a good understanding where the bottleneck is located. We will attach in additional resources some recommendations on how you can deal with this sort of issues. So, please check additional resources. The second option we can consider is to increase the availability of required resources and materials. If this is the case, then you have to obviously find additional resources that will help you scale up the supply side. Another interesting thing that is worth trying is to increase availability of potential employees. In many cases if you need experienced employees to grow your business, they may become a huge bottleneck to your operations. The problem is especially exacerbated if it takes a lot of time to train those employees. We have this problems with doctors, coders or engineers. To deal with this issue you quite often have to set up your own training system or take over employees from competitors. Some firms resort to so-called acquire when you acquire the whole company just to get access to its employees. If this is not enough you have to replace employees with software, machines or in some cases reorganize processes on the supply side. If there is a sufficient demand and supply, the problem might be in the distribution. Let's see what standard approaches we can use in this area. First of all, you can increase the throughput of the distribution system. This means that you want to increase the efficiency of your distribution system and the speed with which it operates. The second option we can consider is to create your own distribution within existing channels. If you cannot count on your partners, you have to do it yourself. This move most likely will require a lot of capital, but in certain cases gives you a huge competitive advantage. Another interesting thing that is worth trying is to create your own distribution, but this time in totally new channels. This is not only capital intensive but also risky, so don't put all your eggs in one basket. Still, in certain situations it may be worth trying. As they say, no pain no gain. To help you understand how enabling investments work, let's have a look at two case studies. First, try to decide how a retail chain for kids products can do enabling investments to support the sales of its products. As a second exercise, find out how Tesla was doing enabling investments to support the sales of its cars. As always, I recommend pausing now the lecture and trying to solve this case on your own. Once you are done, you can move to the next lecture where I will show you our solution to this case study.